Hi, we're in Daytona Beach, Florida at HANKSTERS, 1965 Chevy Impala Ss, the real deal car. Small block Chevy. I'm assuming it's the 327 that came with it. That would have been an error correct motor for this car. I can tell you that the thing runs a lot stronger than a standard motor that would have came in this car, 250 horse or even 300 horse. It does have an LT1 aluminum intake manifold on it. Even in the pictures you'll see it's painted orange, but I assure you it's an LT1 aluminum intake manifold. Has a vacuum, secondary, Holley, dual feed carburetor on it. It shows 283 on the air cleaner. That designation is absolutely incorrect. High flow radiator in it, nice wide one, power steering, power brakes, factory air conditioning in this particular vehicle. New battery, new wires, original style distributor in the car, and it appears to have a new vacuum pot on it also. It may be a new distributor, it appears to also be new. Does have a set of long tube exhaust headers on it that are coated. New alternator. The car underneath the hood is just as new and fresh as it was in 1965 when it was built. Even has the new style underneath the hood pad on it. Heat insulator. Great looking car. I don't see a single thing underneath this hood that doesn't look original. It looks absolutely the way it came from the factory in 1965. But it runs one hell of a lot better than it did whenever it came through from the factory. This motor's been juiced up some. Okay, going across the front of our bright red 65 Impala Ss, you can see the hood, definite nice fitment on this baby. A little tiny bit of pitting on this chrome arrow that goes down the center of the hood. Accentuates the raise in the hood there, the chrome arrow. A little tiny bit. Gives it a little bit of patina, but absolutely nothing that you'd ever replace or re-chrome. You really can't see it. Chevy emblem in the front, nice and clean as can be. Bezels around the headlights are just as nice and fresh. No dings or marks on the anodized aluminum grille. Impala Ss designation on the front. This headlight surround is the same as the other. The grille area on this car is really exemplary. It really looks good. It carries down underneath the front bumper. You really can't see it in the video, I don't think, but you'll see it in the still pictures that Rich takes of this vehicle. But as nice a grille as you can find. I don't see any marks, stone chips, dings, nothing in it. Paint across the front is exemplary. Chrome on the bumper is just as nice as you'd ever want to have on a vehicle. Paint job on this is absolutely gorgeous. Nice car across the front. Okay, going down the driver's side of our car, again, you can see the bumper fitment is just absolutely as sweet as could possibly be. 283 flags on the front. That's not true. Whatever it is, it's definitely a 327 or 350. 15-inch rally wheels on this car really give it more of a modern look, a nice pop to it. Super Sport designation because that's what it is. Front fender to the door. You couldn't ask for a better fit than that. Correct wiper blades and arms on this particular vehicle. It does have a tinted windshield in it also. The stainless around the front window. I don't see a single mark anywhere. Absolutely none. Drip rail molding, same way, as long as it is on this vehicle, and it is long. Nothing. No marks, no dents. Roof area, you can see that there's no dents or marks or hail damage or scrapes, anything on it. It's just as absolutely nice as could possibly be. Driver's door, oh, mirror. Again, a little bit of patina on the chrome on the mirror stand, a little bit on the mirror. It is the original mirror for this car though, so it survived quite a lot through the years, so it's still very nice. I would never change it. The window wipes, fuzzies, nice as can be. Rubber across the top the same way. It's still nice and resilient. You'd never have an issue with that. Still nice and sealed. It seals very well. Door handle chrome is nice and deep on it. Door itself, even down to the rocker panel, to the quarter panel. Nice fitment on it. I didn't mention, but the front wheel lip molding doesn't have any marks on it. This one certainly doesn't, the rear one. Quarter panel just as straight as nice as can possibly be. This is an all tin car too, by the way. There's no Bondo or anything in this car. It's just a nice, straight, well done car. Original body. I'm looking from one end of a football field to the other, but it's laser straight down this car. There's no dents or deviations or waves or anything. Everything on the side of this car, from the quarter panel to the door to the front fender, is just as nice as you'd ever want, and nice and straight. Just very, very, very nice. And again, no marks on this front lip molding either. Okay, going across the back of our 65 Impala SS. You can see the rear deck fits just as the hood does, just as nice and sweet as can be. You got less than an 1/8 gap the whole way around this thing, just the way it should be. 3 tail lights, 1965. Everybody loved that. By the way, backup light right in the center of the center one. The trim around the back, the Chevrolet Impala SS, flat black through the center, just the way it should be. Chrome on the bumper. It's a 3-piece bumper. You got 2 ends and a center section, and all of them made together very well. You can see the chrome is just as nice and sweet as could be in this car. All your bezels around your tail lights, the chrome is just absolutely perfect on them. Tail lights, the lenses are clean and crisp. 2 slash-cut stainless steel exhaust tips out the back, dual exhaust on this particular car. Great back end. I don't see any deviations on the finish. No dents, no waves, no nothing in this tin on this car at all. And it is an all tin car. No Bondo in this baby. It's a nice car. Back end is as clean as you can find. Okay, going down the passenger side. By the way, I still haven't found a stone chip or a mark or a deviation on anything yet, but we're still looking. Nothing on the trunk or the rear end or the driver's side or the front, including the hood. So let's look down the passenger side, see if we can find something that's messed up. And there's got to be something on this car we can find. Quarter panel, same as the other one, laser straight as can be, era correct. Sweep back antenna. A lot of guys put 2 of them on. They only ever came with 1, but that's a correct type antenna for this car. Again, the quarter panel, just, you couldn't possibly find a straighter one. The trim around the rear window, which I neglected to mention on the other side, is just dent-free. There's no marks or pound marks or anything from someone installing it. It's just as nice and straight as can possibly be. This rear shelf hat rack, I call it a hat rack. Here's some trivia for you. It's actually, way back when in the 30s and 40s and 50s, it was called a hat rack in these old cars because women used to put their husbands' hats on the back there to let anyone know that they were taken, that there was a guy involved in the vehicle. So that was why it was called a hat rack way back when. But that's a fact. My father told me that. Drip edge molding, same as the other side. Nothing. No marks, no scuffs, no dings, no nothing. Fuzzies and rubbers on this side. Window seals, the same as the other side. Fresh and new. Quarter panel to the door handle, chrome again, a foot deep. Quarter panel to the door and the rocker panel. You can see there's no deviation, nothing beyond, factory specs, which at this point were not that great, but this is much better than the factory ever put them on. Again, front fender to the door to front fender. The same as the other side, just as nice as can be. The cowl area to the fender to the hood. All the fitment on this car is just laser straight and nice as can be. Super Sport. And again, our incorrect 283 designation on the front. Down the sides of this car, same as the other side. There's no deviations, no waves, no ripples, absolutely nothing. The car is as straight as it was when it left the factory in 1965. You can't find a nicer looking one than that. Interior, we're going to show you an interior of this car. It's really, really exemplary. Back in the 60s, they really went overboard with the chrome and the trim and the appointments on the interior of these cars in their upscale cars, which this is a Super Sport. The bucket seats, you can see all the chrome around the bucket seats, the door panels, everything's accentuated in this car. Black interior with all this chrome, it just pops out at you. you'll see on our video. Everything fits as it should. It's a great color combination, one of the neatest Chevys they ever made, 1965 Impala Super Sport. A lot of charisma to this car. The fit and finish is just exemplary, what you've come to know from the cars that we sell here at HANKSTERS. It's a car that anyone would absolutely be proud to own. It's available here at HANKSTERS Daytona. Check our website out and you'll see a zillion pictures of it. Okay, we're in our 1965 Impala Ss car. What a car this thing is. Talk about a lot of charisma for the era. 1960s was the year that everybody put so much chrome and so much character to these vehicles. It's unbelievable. This particular car, hornworks in it, steering wheel is just the way it left the factory. There's one little scratch. You can't see it. I guarantee you're going to have to really look for it. I can't even feel it, but it may be a scratch, it may be a crack. I'm not sure, but you can't feel it. So it may be there, it may be not. Full gauge instrumentation on this thing. It has all your amp, oil, temp, fuel gauge on this side. It has a functioning manifold vacuum gauge on this side. How about this, guys? The clock in the console still works. Still works. Console on this car, you can see the chrome just accentuates the black everywhere on it. Chrome around the, well, stainless steel around the gas pedal, the brake pedal. All the trim on the dashboard is nice and bright as possible. Headliner is just as nice and new as can possibly be. The seats are just the way they were in 1965 when it left the factory. Kick panels, there's no chips or marks or anything or discoloration on them. Carpeting is all as it was when it was new. Does have air conditioning too, and it is functioning. I drove the car and the car does function. SS designation on the sides of the doors, both sides. The car just has a lot of charisma to it. It has a lot of pop to it. So much chrome all around your windows, your windshield pillars, around the top of the windshield. This is all chrome, where in most of the standard cars it was painted the interior color, when in this case it would have been black. But this car just is accentuated everywhere with chrome, everywhere. The door panels, the dashboard, the steering wheel, the original Impala on the center of the steering wheel, the SS designation on the console. It's a real SS car, a great 1965 example of a Chevrolet. Great car, and it's as new as tomorrow. And you can buy it here at HANKSTERS. Hi, we're in Daytona Beach at HANKSTERS, underneath the 1965 Chevrolet Impala Super Sport. Really a great car. Fantastic car. Disc brakes in the front. For a 65 Impala to have disc brakes in the front, this thing had to be really, really equipped, which it pretty much is. Has power steering, power brakes, and air conditioning. But it does have discs in the front, newer shocks, new brake hardware, looks like new tie rod ends. You can see the motor's been out and it's freshly done. Paint still not even discolored on it anywhere. Brand new starter. Sway bar bushings are fresh. You can see a new converter. There's no shield on the, no dirt shield, dust shield on the bell housing, because it's Southern car here in Florida. They leave them off just to dissipate some of that heat. Converter's open, that way it gets a little air and cools it a little bit better than just the lines going to the radiator, which is already going to be at 180 or 190 degrees. Inch and a half small tube, long length headers on this car. For a small block, that's going to give it a lot of mid-range and low-end torque, which it needs for this heavier body. Overdrive transmission in it. You can also see no leaks on the engine, no leaks on the bell housing. You can see the flywheel. And no leaks on the transmission whatsoever. This particular car, being a full-bodied car for General Motors at that point in time, has a total perimeter frame, but it's also a box frame instead of being a C-channel frame like the Chevelles had. This is an entire box frame, so it's twice the strength of a Chevelle frame. But it is a full perimeter box frame. As you can see, though, there's no dents, jack marks, dings, nothing in the frame or the structural piece that goes on as your transmission mount heading toward the rear of the car. I don't see anything on these floor pans at all that shows that they've ever been replaced or repaired or touched in any way. There's not even any jack-up marks or anything on them through the years. Dents that I can see, at least this far back anyway. Mount in for the transmission is fresh. Got a new vacuum diaphragm on it. I don't see anything at all. 2.5 inch big tube exhaust going into the back of this vehicle. So far back of this car, I don't see anything. The floorboards, the tacked on reinforcements, the structural parts of the floorboards themselves have no marks on them, no rust, no deterioration whatsoever. 5/16 fuel line on the passenger side, which is original, and the brake lines appear also to be original, transitioning toward the rear of the car. I really don't see anything at all in this car that's a question. Okay, we're in the middle of the car, heading back. Again, 2.5 inch pipes that you can see are just as fresh and nice and clean as new. We just did have 2 brand new mufflers and brand new tailpipes, which are also 2.5 inch, installed on this vehicle, and the correct style stainless exhaust tips also that you'll see a slash cut really adds a lot of pop to the back end of this car, having a nice big tube exhaust out the back that way. The floor pans for the rear of this car, there's a little tiny wrinkle here. I guess nobody jacked it up in the front, so they felt like they had to do something here. There's a little tiny ding that someone popped back down. Other than that, I can't see a single thing, and it's original pan. It hasn't been replaced or anything. The drop downs for the rocker panels are also original. This is really a rust-free car. There is no question that this car has had no deterioration through the years whatsoever. It is a rust-free vehicle. Shocks in the back are also new. They are air shocks also, so you can adjust the ride height in the rear of this car. The swing arm suspension in the back with the coil springs. There's no deterioration, no scale, no rust at all on it. 12-bolt heavy rear end. It is a full-size GM car, so that's not unusual to have that. Pan hard rod locating the body to the third member. That's just as nice as could possibly be. The bushings on both ends appear to be fine. There's no deterioration or no play in them. Gas tank is the original gas tank. Little tiny ding on this side, passenger side. Looks like somebody hit it with a golf ball or something. Really not that bad. Certainly nothing to concern yourself with. Again, original fuel lines going into the tank. Perimeter frame is just as fresh and clean in the back as it is in the front. Drum brakes in the back, which would be correct for this 1965 Super Sport car. The trunk area, it's all original. This car's not been messed with in any way. This entire car underneath is just the way it left the factory in 1965. No problems, no deterioration, no issues whatsoever, including no leaks on the driveline. Very nice car.